Level 1, 2, and Level 3 charging times in detail. My name is George. Welcome to Go Green Hub. And in this video, we're going to kind of go over, geek out the differences between these three different levels and why you should worry about it, or maybe why you shouldn't worry about it. Then that way you can overthink and geek out this on yourself and make your own decision. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started with level 1. Now, they're the 120 volt chargers, and basically it's like an extension cord where you plug it in your wall and then it goes into your car. It's kind of that simple. Now, there is a chart here. It's from Tesla, and it's based on 240 volts or 220 volts. So for this example here at 15 amps, let's just call it, we're going to need to double the charging time because we're going to be using 110 volts instead of 220. So instead of 10 hours, it's going to, or 10 miles per hour of charge, it's going to be 5 miles per hour of charge. Now, to get 50 miles, let's say you're driving to and from work and a stop at the grocery store or something like that in a quick errand, and you need to charge 50 miles per day. So this plug-in 110 volt at 15 amps, let's say the extension cord route, level 1, it's going to go 5 miles per hour of charge, and at 50 miles you're going to need to charge for 10 hours. Now, it's something to keep in mind here because this is all part of your charging plan, and when you charge up your EV or when you're new at it or something like that, you need to figure out what works best for you, basically. In an emergency, having an extension cord or this 110 volt, knowing what you can get out of your car. So I suggest testing this a couple times. In an emergency, let's say you're someplace, you had to go somewhere, and you're at somebody's house overnight, and you want to be able to plug in and know what you can get out of it. And if it's 5 miles per hour of charge, you need to stay there for X amount of hours, in order to get to the next destination or something like that, or to another charger. So test that, try it. Again, just geek out on it. I like to take notes. I've got a little notebook and I put all the notes for things that are important. Now, let's moving on to level number 2.
Would it be okay with you if I asked you to please listen closely? We have an extra surprise for you if you stay until the end.
Yes! Yes!
This is going to be the most common charger, and it's 220, 240 volts, and they're going to range from 20 amps to 60 amps. And what's the difference here? Well, the more amps, it's the more capable of the charger is that can give your battery, that can give your car. So that's really all going to determine on where you're at. Like if it's at your home, you have a level 2, maybe you only got a 30 amp charger or a 40 amp service, something like that. Maybe you have a charger at work and the boss is providing that. Maybe that's a little bit higher up. Now, when you get into these higher amps, it costs more for an electrician, et cetera, et cetera. But again, what you want to keep in mind and record this and test it and try it and do a little case study for yourself here. This is the geek part of me, is plug in to the same spot, all right, where to be at home, drain your battery, plug in the same spot, and so that way you know how many hours it takes at point home. And then if you're at work, how many hours does it take to get from 20% to 80%. Let's just call that the sweet spot still, all right? And there's a video up there in the corner. So you can get that upper left corner, so that way. Now, level 2, again, going back to this Tesla chart here, one car might draw a little bit different than other cars. Same Tesla can draw different voltages or different amps. So over here, if you look at this chart here I'm bringing up, you can see here the circuit breaker, maximum output amps, and then the kilowatts at 240 volts, the different Model S, Model 3, and these are miles per hour of charge. This is how many miles you'll get per charge. And again, you can see down here in the low one, 2.8 kilowatt hours, 10 hours of charge, or 10 hours, 10 miles of charge per hour. Let me say that again. 10 in 1 hour, you're going to get 10 miles in your battery. That's an easy way. Model 3, Model X, and Model Y. But now if you go, as you see here, you go up in the kilowatt hours in the output here, which is going to be the amps from a 20, 30, 40, 50, and a 60 amp breaker, you can see that you can get as much as, and this is level 2, you can get as much as 41 or 44 even miles out of an hour of charge. So that's at the big one. So again, find out what kind of service you've got. Look at your app or look at your car and find out what's the rate of draw, because again, some cars will draw more than the other. If you've got two different cars side by side at your office, let's just say, and there's two chargers, you plug them both in, one's going to charge faster than the other because of the car itself, what it's been designed to take in. Again, the only thing you can really do is try it, test it out, take some notes, or if you've got a good memory, make some notes on your phone or something like that, and do it over and over, and so that at least you know where you're at, the baseline is at. Then when you are actually out on a trip someplace and you find a level 2 charger at the, there's another video over there. I was at a hotel in Los Angeles and they had a level 2 charger in the parking lot, which was free, but I had to pay $40 a day for parking, regardless if I used the charger or not. Anyhow, plan your test and test your plan. That's the best thing you can do, because you don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere with no juice, okay? Now, finally, the level 3, okay? And this is the quick charge of the DC's direct current superchargers that you're going to see over places. And the difference between these is, yeah, they're higher amperage and they're mostly running on 440 volts. And you don't get 440 volts at a standard office building. You'll get them at industrial buildings, but not at your home, you know, not at the work office if it's just like an office park or something like that. You just won't find that. So when you're traveling, these level 3 chargers, it's probably what you're going to want when you need to gas up, get from your 20 to 80%, or when you need a fast charge while you're having breakfast, lunch, dinner, something like that. But that's what you want. Now, if you're taking a night break or something like that, where you're going to be able to sleep, hey, go ahead and find a level 2 charger, plug into that, and just use that. So here's a website that I found as a previous video on that, also in the upper left-hand corner. And this is a quick way to show all available level 2 and level 3 chargers in the United States, and it has the different plugs. So, if you have an older style car, it has a weird plug or something like that, at least you can do this. So go ahead and check out that video. In closing, now, most batteries, they'll work best if they're kept in their sweet spot of 20 to 80%, and they're charged slowly. Think of feeding yourself. Think of you're starving. You've gone days without food and you're starving, and all of a sudden you go to a buffet and boom, you start scarfing down all this food. Well, you start to eat really quickly, and all of a sudden your brain says that you're full, but it's too late and you feel terrible. All right. Now, if you pace yourself and you don't wait until your stomach is empty and you eat slower, smaller amounts, and I'm not a health nut or anything like that. This is no health advice, but if you eat slower, your body will like you better. And think of like also a straw to a garden hose to a fire hose, okay? You're not going to get that 110 at level 1. It's going to be that straw, really slow, really slow. That's, your food intake. But if you get to the garden hose, hey, you know what? You can water the plants and do a lot with that thing in a period of time. Fire hose, that's just going to flood everything and it's all going to run off and just get wasted. So keep that in mind when you are charging. If you're new to this or if you've been doing this and if this video is cool to you, hey, let me know. What did I forget? What am I leaving out? What's not right? What have you learned that I didn't cover here? So we always love to know that. Stan and I, we love to answer comments.
So if you enjoyed our video today, maybe you'd like to subscribe to our channel and join in, because we have a drawing every month where we give away a free coffee mug or a free water bottle, and even sometimes we give away a Go Green Hub hoodie. Yes, the Go Green Hub is the go-to source for all things of sustainable energy and transportation.
Thanks again for participating, watching the video to the end. Have a fantastic day.